I'm sure a lot of you guys have dealt with this. Being a car guy, everybody knows what you do, what you're into, so they ask you questions, they ask for advice, all that kind of stuff. But then you got the guys that want to be car guys, but they really don't know what's up. Like they have a newer car, and maybe they did some mods to it or something, and they're like, they're doing things, which is cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know, don't say nothing. And because if you do, it's misinformation, leads to old wives' tales that we deal with forever afterwards. And that's something we're going to talk about on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. Yo, so stop me if you hurt one of these, all right? Every now and then, I like to really treat her good, Stop at the old gas station, get a little 93 octane, and treat her nice, Really open her up, yeah? Or, whoa, 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 whoa. You're actually changing your oil every 10,000 miles like the manufacturer suggests? I still do mine at 3. You're gonna ruin your motor. What are you doing? Or, you go to that gas station, what are you, crazy? No, I only run Chevron in mine because it's got the additive. That's the way you got to do it. I don't know what are you doing, right? Or I'd love to help you out. I know you need a jump start, but I heard it really messes up your car, and I just can't do that. All these things that if you actually know what you're talking about, you know the risks behind things, but most of the stuff's ridiculous, right? And there's a whole bunch more. They all drive me effing bananas. So we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. I'm just going to get it off my chest. So, as usual, guys, something drives me to think about something, and a tech tip is born, right? Most recently, I was walking around the shop, and I saw I had the old Interstate battery out of the 65 sitting on the floor in the back room. And I remember as a kid and beyond, people seeing that, whoa, you can't just put a battery on concrete. Get a piece of wood, put it underneath it, it's going to drain it, kills it. You're going to ruin it. Now, 100 years ago, there was the batteries were made out of porous materials, right? And it would cause it to drain. But as long as I've been cruising around this little rock here, they're made of plastic, and it doesn't do it. So the fact that, no kidding, this is 100 years ago that this was a deal. And people still say it today, right? And it's just, I'm sure it's been passed down from generation to generation, but it's an old wives' tale. And it's so funny, right? Because nowadays you can just Google all this stuff and it tells you everything. But so that one just kind of makes me laugh because you ain't hurting nobody, right? But I'll tell you one that really gets me. Man, it makes me nuts. It's 2026, and people are still driving around with their tailgates down because they think they're getting better gas mileage. Mythbusters proved this to be false. It's got to be 15, 20 years, if not more, right? And not only do they prove that, you actually get worse gas mileage with it down, because you think you're just rolling all this. There's design things here, guys, and there's an air bubble that kind of sits, and it's a whole whirlwind of aerodynamics. It's a thing, all right? So if you're that guy doing it, stop. All you're doing, you're leaving it for stuff and these guys are doing. I see it doing around here, guys, and they got stuff in the bed of the truck. I'm waiting for it to come out on the road, and you can't see the taillights right. It's just distracting. Knock it off. You're actually hurting your gas mileage. And if you bought a truck to get good gas mileage, you've already screwed up. I mean, let's be honest with each other. But remember, I was actually the first pickup I had that Dodge Ram 50, the orange one I built, and I had the Pro Net in it. And people were like, oh, you want to get better gas mileage? No, the tailgate was beat to crap. I couldn't get it even fit the truck right, so that's why I had the Pro Net on it. It was $12 rather than trying to find another tailgate. But I mean, That's what people think, right? The premium gas, right? Oh no, I only run this. Now, there's different types of for different cars. So if you got a turbo or you got like, whatever, and it's tuned, especially nowadays, everything's tuned for something. If it's tuned to run on, premium, run on premium. Both of my Harleys, premium. This guy, 87. The Tundra, 87. That's just, you gotta know your vehicle. And some of them will tell you, like I know BMWs or whatever, I don't know why, because they're special. I don't know. But no, if your car can run on 87, sometimes you're getting worse gas mileage by putting it. So you're spending extra money for the fuel. You're getting worse gas mileage. You're not getting any more performance out of it. It's not going to do anything. So stop. All right. I actually heard this just the other day. Oh, I don't idle my vehicle. In the morning. You see it all the time. These guys will hit the button because now it's a button. Let me see. I got keys, but the starter is not even disengaged, and they're in gear going. Right now, it's 6 degrees outside. That right there. Let some heat get over that guy. Let it. Now I'm not telling you it's like back in the old days with carburetors. You got to let it idle for 15 minutes before you're going to move in the cold weather. But we got to I don't. Again, options I don't have, but you got the electric start. Not electric start. Remote start. Why do you think you got that? It's not just for your air conditioning or heat. It's so you can get a little heat across the motor. It's a machine. Come on, People that say, running it all the way to E, that's why the gauge goes there. You're not hurting nothing. Well, you are for a number of reasons. Depending on how old your vehicle is, you could have some sediment or whatever in your tank and you're sucking stuff up into the fuel pump. It's just bad to make a fuel pump work that hard. If you're one of those guys that are worried about gas mileage, you get a little better gas mileage on a full tank because there's no air in there. It runs more efficiently. So let's knock that off. The oil change guy. Oh, you're going to ruin it. You got to do it every 3,000. Yes. When it was zinc stuff and everything was all natural and the cars were built totally different. Yeah. You did 3,000 mile oil changes. You did 25,000 mile plug changes. You did all these things, right? Those days are behind us. I did that Camry. Every 10,000 miles I changed oil. Because you know what? That's what Toyota said to do. They built it. And that's another thing. I'm on these Tundra pages, right? When they're not crying about gas mileage, you bought a full-size four-wheel drive V8 truck, they're crying about gas mileage. When they're not doing that, they're like, hey, so I know Toyota says I should use this, but maybe I should use this instead, or should I use it? You're asking some chamoke on the internet. He don't know, shit from Shinola. You're going to ask this guy what kind of... The engineers figure, I'm not a big engineer guy, they piss me off at work all the time, but they actually do the work to understand what's going on. So do what they told you to do. Knock it off, all right? The gas stations. Oh, no, I'll only run Shell. I'll only run this, I'll only run that. I don't know about right now. You can do your own research. But I know when I lived in California, my neighbor was a truck driver. He worked for ARCO. Or actually, he worked for everybody, right? He would drive his truck and he'd fill up the ARCO, and he'd go fill up the Shell, and he'd go fill up the Chevron, and he'd go, it ain't no special gas. Oh, it's got Techron in it. Yeah. The dude that works there walks out with a bottle and dumps, a quart of their Techron into, I don't know, hundreds of gallons of fuel. Doesn't matter. And now, there might be some guy that's got an old gas station, they need a code, and water in the oil, and there's some kind of contamination or what. Right, that can happen. But on the most part, just get your gas and carry on. It's not, what are we doing? All right? Jump starts. One of my biggest pet peeves. Somebody's driving their car. It stalls out. They're like, I think I need a jump. Now, if you know anything about how this all works, you know that's not true. But I hear it all the time. Oh yeah, so I tried jump start and didn't go. Well, what? Why would you do that? Did it crank? Oh yeah, it was cranking fine. Then what are you doing? You have a problem. It's not, you get a car, you're not just going to go down the road and just it dies and you need to, that's not how any of this works. And then the whole, so trying to jump start it when you don't need to, because there's no reason, it's not going to do nothing for you. You need to actually troubleshoot the problem. Then you got the guys, oh no, well it's bad for this and it's bad for that. So if you do things wrong, yeah, there's truth to that. They're saying there's actually a little bit of science as far as if you're jump starting a vehicle is bad for the vehicle that you're jump starting, not the other one, but the one you're jump starting. And the reason is because the battery is totally dead and you're making the alternator work extra, right? Now, I would argue that's what it gets paid to do. Shut up and color, guy. But there's some truth to that. That can be it. You could ask my brother if there's some older electronic systems you don't want to jump start them. He actually had a problem. He had a 2000, maybe no one. Harley Davidson. It had that 1 or 2 year only fuel injection system. It was like that Magnetti, I think it was. Terrible. They only used it for a year or two for a reason. And those bikes back then you could get them in still in carburetor because they weren't sold on the fuel injection yet, and rightfully so. He jumped it off his wife's Tacoma and burned up the ECU or whatever it was. That was because it was an inferior system, right? Now, it's never really good to throw that kind of cranking amps at a motorcycle. It's motorcycle batteries this big, car batteries this big. There's a reason. So I'm not saying I haven't done it. I jump started my crotch rocket because I had to. And, luckily I didn't have the same luck my brother did. But it was a last resort. So the better idea is, if you're storing your motorcycle for a while, put it on the tender, take it out of the bike, put it on the charger. Most of these have an automatic. You put it on the trickle charge or whatever. You're better, or just put a new battery. That's, $100, $200, whatever. But he ended up offloading a motorcycle that he loved because of it. So, do the math, right? What we're talking about, my brother, this isn't a bash on Joey thing either, by the way. We were working on my mom's car and put brakes on or whatever. And I was like, hey man, we're up there. I said, you have a torque wrench? He's like, oh, I don't. He did at his house, but his house a couple miles away. His buddy lives like 3 doors down. So he grabs one from him. And I go to torque everything. I torqued, I put the wheels back on, torqued the lug nuts, whatever I was torquing. And the guy's standing right there, his buddy, and I'm running it back down, right? And he's like, whoa, what are you doing? No, I did realize that he had it set at like 100 pounds or something like that, which wasn't where I needed it anyways. But so I said where I needed to use it, and I'm running it back down. He's like, what are you doing, man? I keep it set there. I was like, yeah, dude, but you shouldn't. And he's like, why not? I said, you're supposed to store it at the lowest setting. And not past it at 0, but like at the lowest actual first little setting. And he's like, nah, man, where'd you ever hear that? So my brother says to him, hey, man, you know what he does for a living, right? And he's like, he works on planes. He's like, yeah, he's like quality on planes. Maybe he's like, oh, yeah, well, I guess. So then he's inquisitive. He's like, okay, well, why do you do that? I said, well, there's a spring in there, and if you have it set down there, there's tension on it all the time, and you throw it out of cow. And over time, it wears the spring out. He's like, huh. Well, I don't know how much you should trust that torque because it's been sitting like that since I owned it. But he didn't know. And he's a good dude, right? Let me borrow his tools. And then now, we all learned something. So it was good. But those are just a few guys. And I know there's a million of them out there. But if you don't know, look into it. Like I said, it's 2026. Pick your phone up and say, hey, Google, da-da-da-da-da-da. And you'll probably learn something. You could not give people bad advice and not sound like a jackwagon when you're trying to talk to somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully, I bet a couple guys I hit their pet peeve as well, and I bet a couple of guys are pissed off that I made fun of them. So, well, what are you gonna do? Thanks for watching, guys.